meeting to order for the MSD meeting for today, April the 28th. First line of action is the approval of the minutes from March 24th meeting.
The minutes will be tabled. Of course, y'all know Ms. Jones is out right now. She will be back probably in May. So that's when we'll have those meetings at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. Update to downtown logo contest. I'll turn that over to Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I'm doing double duty tonight. So we have heard back from the three people that were selected as the finalists: Elijah Woodard from Western Carolina, Tamisha Newell from North Carolina Wesleyan, and also Cecilia Renaya from North Carolina Wesleyan. Cecilia has submitted her final submission. She submitted on Monday. She's also had Maria Bukiai, who was helping her get submitted back to the town because it kept coming back not deliverable, which we didn't understand. Elijah Woodard has reached out to the town and let us know that once exams are over with in the next week or two, he will be finishing up his and submitting to the town. And Maria Abukiai has talked with Tamisha Newell to make sure she gets her submittal in because Wesleyan actually is doing exams right now, and then they're going to be wrapping up school in the next week. So once we get those final two submitted, I'll send out a courtesy reminder email to both of them. Maria did ask that we also CC her in on her students just to make sure they get it because if they're off campus, she has their personal phone number to call and say, hey, don't forget to get your submittal in. So the final two, we're waiting to hear from Tamisha, and Elijah has let us know that he will have something in once he gets done up there with Western in his finals. So that's our update, but in the May selection, we'll be making a decision between those three. And all three of them are excited, and the other person did reach out to the board. He was the one that we said his submission would have been perfect for the Blooming Festival with the courthouse and the guitar. We told him he was a strong number 4, and he was just so thankful that he made it that far. So he just told the board to let me know, let y'all know thank you for taking time to look at his submission. Okay. All right, Mr. Vice Chair, back to you, sir.
All right. Fourth item is follow-up from the recommendation from the MSD work session. First, installing a welcome to Nashville sign near the US 64 bridge.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Mr. Vice Chairman. As you know, at the work session we had at Trash to Treasures that Mr. Akai hosted for us, we came up with 3 things we wanted to kind of tackle this year and work on. Some of the things are projects. One of them is something that we just can do more on our own. It doesn't have to be a project. And the first one was installing a Welcome to Nashville sign near the US 64 bridge. Of course, you know, when you come off 64 in the lower part of East Washington by the Zaxby's and McDonald's, there is a Welcome to Nashville sign there. The members at the work session thought it would be nice if we could get something a little bit more curb appealing, a little bit more kind of stands out like what you see when you're coming down 64 when you're in the Rocky Mountain by Winstead, where the hospital's at, the big see the Rocky Mountain sign. You see that when you go to Greenville on 264, welcome to the city of Greenville. So the committee, well not committee, the board members thought that that was something we wanted to do. I did reach out to Tim Glasgow, so he kind of creates a lot of signs in the area. Thought keeping it local would be great. Tim is going to come up with some creation and submissions and send them to me to have to you guys next month if we want to go forward with this. Of course, if we make a recommendation to buy the sign, to put a new sign out there, we would hope that we could make that recommendation to the council, and the council would like what we had and adopt the same type of sounds that the other main interests coming in. The one over here off of First Street Extension, the one on 58, and the other one on 64 when you come in the back way. So if the board is still wanting to move forward with that, we will follow back up with Tim tomorrow, just let him know that it's still a go to get us some stuff and have it back to you guys in May to look at and start making some decisions on what we want. And of course that sign would have something to say, welcome to downtown Nashville, such that is the main entrance into the downtown, to separate us from the town, but let people know you're in Nashville, but you're in downtown Nashville.
Okay. Any other discussion on that?
No, I think that's great. I want to see it.
All right.
That's called progress.
That's it.
All right. Second item was improving curb appeal with enhanced directional signs in the entire MSD area.
Thank you once again, Mr. Vice Chairman. As you know, during that work session, we discussed the signs we get in Nashville. I sent the email out, so the majority of you have seen them. It's kind of says library this way, town hall this way, post office this way. The committee thought it would be great if we could get Tim also to come up with some more newer modern style signs for directions that kind of give you directions around the entire MSD. One can say Town Hall, Post Office, Nashville Junction, make a right here. First one, downtown retail shopping, Nash County Administrative Building, Nash Arts straight ahead. Just more than what we got right now. We just have a yellowish sign with blue letters on it, and I can see why the board wanted something different. It does kind of yell blah when you look at it. It isn't exciting because when me and Thomas see after the meeting rolled by, I looked at all of them. I said, well, I can see why this is something we may need to look at investing in. I think with all the new businesses we have, been able to encourage people that if you get in off Lower Washington, restaurants, retail, straight, Nashville Junction, when you get up here by the stoplight, Nashville Junction, Town Hall, Post Office, make a right on Barnes. If you're looking for the library, when you get up here, library, make a right, Nash Arts straight ahead, retail straight ahead. It'll just encourage some more walkability, and we'll be putting it around the main corners of the downtown MSD. So you'll have one at when you get in downtown off of 64 by the restaurants, come up to the stoplight over here by Faith Christian's, one there. When you get down there by the junction, probably one somewhere in there, it just says Nashville Junction, straight ahead. When you come back up, we'll have one tell you how to get to the library, and then also one tell you how to get to Nash Arts. And we'll just try it out. We won't be able to put the business names up there, but on the one for retail, when you get in downtown by Zach's, we'll just put retail shopping straight ahead.
Okay.
And we have asked him also to kind of use his creative expertise to kind of draft something that he thinks he sees in other towns as he's traveled that will stand out and let people know that will draw them to stay in this area.
Okay. Because I know one of the things that Randy and I discussed years back was the fact that there's so many signs downtown right now.
Yes.
I mean, when you're on the side of the courthouse, heading south, heading to west, there's like 15 signs. So it's an overabundance of signs.
That's correct.
And I don't want to clutter everything with signage, but I do want people to know where everything is. So when we're doing this, we definitely need to make sure we figure out how do we make this beautiful and not just another sign.
That's right.
Okay.
And
Incorporate other
Well,
signs.
yeah, and if there's ways to incorporate some of those that are highway signs to figure out how to make those more attractive than just, I mean, because you've got like 64, this one, this, it's like they're staggered everywhere, and you're like, can we do something to make it a little more appealing?
And we can work with also Nash County DOT, Kim Moore, the engineer, to see if she has any take of what we can do. Let her know that we want some directional signs. They want to partner with us, and we say, hey, you create the signs at Highway 64 and let us put something up there that allow us to. I'll reach out to Kim tomorrow to see what she says.
Right. Because I just think if we have one sign that had junction this way, but Highway 64 still straight ahead,
Right.
Even having the Highway 64 sign on it, it kind of helps solidify the fact that you don't have 15 signs sitting there.
Yeah.
And I was hoping the one for the lodge and the other civic groups that's right here by the Seatgo, maybe when we start installing the new ones, we can get Tim to pull that one up and put it more near the entrance of when you come on 64. I think that's a good spot still, but if we could get somewhere in there, just kind of welcome to Nashville. Here are our civic groups here, the Masonic Lodge, Rotary Club, stuff like that. Majority of town, when you go to these towns and cities, you see them right there at the entrance sign and not 3 blocks behind it.
Right.
I have one quick thing to float on that as well. I think it might be nice to have some of those downtown specific signs have that same deep blue color that the parking has,
Okay.
just as a kind of like color code, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, do we have any sort of uniform color for Nashville? I mean, I know we're working on our MSD color.
Not that I'm aware of. I think the blue has just kind of always been the traditional color. Blue and white is what the boards always vote for.
Isn't the flag blue too, the new flag?
The new flag is blue with white lettering.
So I think that's probably why.
So I think, if we mirror that,
Okay.
so everything stays consistent, so whatever that color is,
It stays all the same.
it stays the same.
I will send that note to Tim also in his creation.
And once we have our logo, we can have it in the bottom corner.
And probably we will wait till we get the logo done if we want to add that, so we don't have to get Tim to take them down and add it up there. So we probably could just get Tim to start giving us some basic synopsis of what to look at. Pick one we like to tell Tim when we decide on the logo. We also would like this up here too.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion?
Well, what's the status of the triangle? By the junction?
Randy, you won't know.
Getting that in our name?
The land.
Well, it was pledged to us quite a while ago, but
Over a year.
it hasn't been conveyed yet. I'll follow up with Michael on that. We've been talking about other things lately, such as our stage being painted black by mistake and trying to get that fixed. But I'll put that on my to-do list to follow up with him on that.
All right. And then item 3 under that is beginning efforts to incorporate Barnes Street into the MSD area.
As you know, in that work session that was also brought up, what could we do to incorporate the Barnes Street part more into the MSD? The junction kind of always feels a little left out because they're so far away from the heart of downtown. So we just want to think of some things that we could do throughout the year that kind of, if the MSD does, how we could also incorporate the junction and Barnes Street more into it. That's just something we wanted to put on the radar to let the other board members know who wasn't present, that was discussed. So as we continue on this year, if there's anything we can do, which I think we did good as far as beautification with the flowers. We do have the pots down going to the junction, so that's one step we made in progress right there. But anything else we can do to kind of just make the junction feel a part of MSD and kind of not like an album of misfit toys by themselves out there, it would be greatly appreciated what they said.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind. Has there been any discussion about, on Barnes Street, adding more chairs or seating? Because if you want people to walk, I think there's one bench, one.
Not anymore.
No, it was removed. It was at the corner of PNC.
It's
Well, there's
funny.
another one in front of the thing that only had 3 legs. We had to take that one down.
Yeah, it was a little dangerous.
We were just talking about that last week. I believe somebody said, Town Manager Lance in the photo, we are going to take inventory over the next few days of all the benches that were removed and try to see if we can get some pricing with some of these companies that me and Thomasine met at the Main Street Conference to get some price to get some benches back down Barnes Street. If any street needs benches, it is Barnes Street because it is the more walkable one that people walk.
Well, here's a thought for the bench. Sponsorships on the backside.
I thought
Because
that would be
people, I've got benches all over town that I got from Glasgow that are the oak. I mean, I have like 20 of them and I just rotate them. If it's been sitting and it's just kind of starting to dilapidate, I'll go tell them I'll pick it up, get it refurbished, then I'll move it somewhere else.
okay.
So it's my advertising, but it's mine. So it's my mobile billboard
Okay.
that I get to move.
That is smart.
So if it was on the back, I don't want it on the front.
Right, on
The
the
front
back
needs to
one.
stay nice.
Right,
But it could be on the back saying this bench is sponsored by, Southern Bank
right.
or, something along those lines. So it's just, to me, it helps the MSD not spend all our money.
Right. That's right, that's true.
But so it's being frugal. But it's just one of those things. But people probably would sponsor just like we did the banners.
Well, and I think that'll be good because even in Glover with the sponsorship that Corey's done for the splash pad area, he's got a lot of interest from people wanting to sponsor things over there. So I think if we send letters out to the MSD that members in the MSD, the businesses, if you want to sponsor a bench, we're going to do 5 benches this year. Here's the price, and the MSD will match the other half. We can make it so I will begin working on it also.
Didn't you previously send out some benches over email?
We did the ones that we thought need to be replaced and what we thought we could replace them with.
What happened to the garbage cans? The nice garbage cans that were gonna go near the benches?
Yeah, that's it. We're still waiting on them to show up. Sean.
We never got that to council. That's something we got to get back through the pricing with them.
Because if people are sick, they're gonna huck.
Well, if we're gonna get trash cans, the other thing we do need are dog waste bins.
Yes.
Because now I clean up after my dog, but I walk him every day, and I promise you, I walk, and it is stuff not cleaned up everywhere. So I think it would encourage people. Plus, most communities they have signs saying it's against the law if you don't clean it up, because it truly is against the law. But we don't really push it. But I think in our town, we do need, because that's part of what's gonna keep our town nice.
Okay.
It's kind of pushing that. I mean, I know Raleigh they do, even Rocky Mount they do. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of need to clean up after your pet.
I can go ahead this tomorrow morning and start looking at the benches and also those little green things, receptacles with the trash bags in for dollars, and we probably could look at getting 4 of those and just putting one on every corner.
Yeah, or midway down the street.
Right, we went down the street.
Because I mean, if I'm out walking, I mean, I circle everywhere, and it doesn't have to be on every single street.
Right,
But I think if you had on some of your main streets, for one, it would protect the businesses downtown.
right,
Okay, it would protect the junction if you had one near there,
right,
just so people knew, hey, that's what I'm supposed to do.
right, that's right.
Now, this committee already voted to do trash cans, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We did. We
We
just
need to get
got,
that on the agenda so we can have this fiscal year.
we'll go ahead and get that up there probably on your daytime meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we had voted on like 6 or 8,
Yeah.
6 or 8 of them.
replacing the ones, that-
Let's go ahead
especially on
and add some
Washington.
benches to it too and put it
We're
all
looking
together
at
one
putting
time.
church.
Do you want to meet next month and we get the benches and then that'll give us June in this fiscal budget just to go ahead and buy everything for the years out?
That's fine.
Okay, I'll send some benches out to everybody and then we'll just go ahead and pick the trash can we selected and the benches and get our order at one time.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on? All right. Next item on the agenda is a 2-hour parking enforcement discussion.
We wanted to bring this back up to the MSD. We don't know if the problem has gone away, if it solved itself, if it has not solved itself. We have not been hearing any complaints from nobody, and I guess no news is good news. But we wanted to talk with the MSD just in case, now that it's budget season, if we wanted to look at some type of way to begin a more readily enforceable approach, we could go ahead and start budgeting for either some software stuff so that the code enforcement officer could have something to help write downtown parking tickets if you violate 2-hour parking. So I guess the first question for the business owners from the junction all the way up to Faith Christians and down to the graphic, is there still a problem with 2-hour parking or people still violating it?
Well, not to throw somebody that's not here under the bus, but he did discuss this. I won't call his name.
Okay.
But when we had the work session the other week,
Yes.
Yeah,
he discussed it was a really big problem for him in front of his business.
Okay.
And I think it's like lawyers that are,
He's mentioned to me that the same attorney parks in front of his shop on a daily
He
basis.
parked
the
over there,
graphic,
he had
too.
parked over there in a meeting.
yeah, yeah.
just from my own personal anecdote, of course, wandering around all the time, I've seen the same car in the same place 4 hours, 5 hours, all night.
Okay.
It occasionally happens, for sure.
Would we I've already reached out to a company out of Charlotte that has a budget-friendly software that you can utilize that you can, because I know when I talked with the chief yesterday, you can't chalk it over like you used to a few years ago. Everything has to be iMark. I reached out to a company. I can follow up their presentation, see what the price is, and then try to bring it to the board before the June meeting. So if we do want a budget to have something in place that the code enforcement officer can utilize, we can do that. And then also then we can start the process of writing the tickets and all that stuff. Now the chief did tell me that if the code officer does write a parking ticket and somebody wants to appeal it, me and him need to get together on the appeal process. Who will they appeal it to? Who will be the appeal officer? All that stuff. So I'll start working on that and I'll get with Chief Shockley and let him know it's still a problem and something that we may want to look into addressing.
I definitely don't want parking to be an issue and deter people
Right.
from coming and spending the afternoon downtown for shopping, eating, whatever, because it may be more than 2 hours. But how much would it be to look into something like a meter that they get 2 hours free or, whatever. And then after that, it charges $1 an hour or something very minimal.
Well, if you can find out, town of Chapel Hill, Raleigh, some of those others,
Pay stations.
they have pay stations. They actually use a QR code. In Chapel Hill, when you pay the first $1, you get an hour. Okay, it's not expensive, and it's actually extremely inexpensive. I've parked in Chapel Hill for 8 hours. It cost me $3 all day.
Yeah.
Okay, so and it's just their pay to park app. Okay, it's definitely a software in which you just have to have that someone has a QR code, they log in and do it, and it tracks it. And it tracks it by your license plate.
That's right.
So you key in your license plate and you're done. You know, so that's an easy one, and I think it's not necessarily a huge money maker for the town, but it is a money maker.
Right.
Okay, for the MSD, it would be a money maker.
Right.
And it wouldn't be the deterrent
Mm-hmm.
because it's actually there's visible meters.
Right.
You know, and I like it. You just walk up, either you have a kiosk
Mhm.
or you do it on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them, it's so easy on your phone. It's pitiful. It's just, I mean, you just,
Beach has that.
yeah,
Same thing.
Beaufort has it,
Mhm.
Emerald, Atlantic Beach, every one of them. uses it.
And I mean, if you want to keep the 2-hour parking since it's already labeled, you could give them 2 hours free, but after that,
I
It
charge
kicks
$1 or
did turn
something, you
it
know?
off.
Yeah, so like if the first charge would end up being like if they pass, you know, if they knew they were gonna be there longer than 2,
Yeah.
then, I mean, no matter what, they still gotta key it in.
Right.
But if they are past 2, then they need to pay whatever whatever it is per
Per hour.
15 minute.
Okay.
Normally it's 15-minute increments. It's how they do theirs.
I'll reach out to them and see if they got those kiosks.
That's why it only ends up being like $1 an hour. So it's not terrible for parking.
So if I could very quickly say something, we've had a lot of great ideas up here. I think one thing that would be helpful, one thing we mentioned during the work session was this idea of trying to work other boards into, or just trying to communicate better with other boards, as it were, right? Right now, we don't really know what they do. They don't really know what we do. And I think it might be good to have just a short document, bullet points of what we're planning to do and what we're going to review in July. Sounds like a July meeting. And when we finalize that, sending that short document, just a copy of it to each board, the council, and perhaps having a copy of that be public as well, just so that hopefully we can get some feedback from citizens, feedback from other boards. Maybe those other boards might be interested in, working with us on part of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I even think it would be good to give it to the chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that the chamber, because honestly, the chamber needs to be on board with stuff we're doing
Right.
because they're our other voice.
Right. That's right.
So that's the reason why having a partnership with them would be very critical. So I do like the fact that what we're coming up with, if you can come up with a few bullets of saying, hey, here's some of the stuff we're doing.
Okay.
We might could send it over to Joanne at the chamber and say, hey, these are some things we're up to. Or, Lord, who's Cliff?
Cliff.
Yeah, send it to him and say, hey, these are a few things we're up to. Let us know what your body thinks.
Okay.
Okay, because that's the feedback we need.
I just want for a point of clarity, the problem with the parking, I know we mentioned one particular person or two. It sounds like that's really over, using the spaces. But is this a general problem or is this two people, is the general?
It is on court day.
Okay.
On
On
court
court
day
day.
is the
Yeah.
worst day of all.
Okay,
I think the days after court day is more of the few business owners that know better and just violate it. But I know on court day, that's what the old previous people said on court day is when you have the most violations.
For sure.
okay.
I mean, because sometimes their court starts at 9, but they might not get seen till 3.
Mhm.
So, but they've got to sit there all day long. So they don't have a choice. But the free parking is in their lot.
Yeah, they have a choice. They can go to the parking lot.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. They just don't want to walk that far.
You're right.
Okay, I'm gonna say they just don't want to walk that far.
I just want to make sure that citizens don't start to feel like they're being penalized
Right.
because of what they're doing and now they gotta pay when they don't utilize the space that much.
If we can set that
2
pay
hours
station
free
up
is
to
still
do
good.
like Garrett said, the first 2 hours you put your license plate, that's on the house, then it kicks in, I think that'll feel better. 'Cause most people, if they're coming to shop, about an hour and a half, they're in and out.
Yep.
Most people that's going to court, like they said, they get there at 9, case not heard at 3, the car just sits there all day.
And they know.
Right. Yes, sir.
And Sean, when you look into that, the kiosk, there's
Yes.
also, I've seen them in other cities, but there's also the little cardboard, no, it's like a metal that can go on a flagpole that they can pull the kiosk from, pull a scan from there as well. Because we're talking about the signs already being kind of cluttered. Now you put the kiosk there, and then we have other stuff we want to put out. So I'm just wondering how the streets are gonna look soon
Right.
for people trying to get directional things. That they also have a flag one that you can put
Okay.
up for signs. So we have just one kiosk on one corner, but then there's a flag one in the middle of the street. We won't have to have a kiosk on, every place.
Okay, and we probably, if we do get it going, we could give all the businesses a QR code. So when somebody come in and shop with you, you can say, hey, scan the QR code to set up your parking.
Yeah.
We can put it on their business door, QR code that people can scan.
Yeah.
Any other discussion about the parking? If not, we'll move on to the MSD budget, the Michael Hurt dig grant. Turn it over to Randy.
I will yield to Randy on this one. I believe he's ready.
Well, I think Sean provided everybody with the current budget we have for FY '26. I'm looking at FY '27. I think we had for FY '26 in there a dig grant. Now that the junction is finished and we have the final taxable value, compare that to the pre-renovation value, we can calculate what the MSD will need to reimburse under our dig program. And it's not a whole lot of money there to be budgeted, but the rest of the budget, I think, pretty much just repeat. I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about maybe more Christmas decorations for Lower Washington Street or Barn Street. We need to get more utility poles with outlets on them. And that seems to be a 1.5-year undertaking for whatever reason, I don't know, but it takes a long time. It doesn't take long to get the Christmas decorations. We can usually get those in 8-10 weeks, tops. But so I don't know if you wanted to have more discussion about that. The MSD's got plenty of money there. I think there's $239,000
Right.
in the fund balance, and don't have much of that spoken for. 40,000 of it is going to be used for sidewalks. If you were on Body Street today, you saw Marshall Construction was doing some of the MSD sidewalk there on Body Street. They also have some over on Alston Street between Washington and Church Street, and then a little bit on Church Street. Wanted all that obviously to get done before the parade, the Blooming Festival parade. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll get some of it done. I think what's going to happen on Alston Street requires DOT traffic control, and they'll have to make arrangements for that to be set up. And then, of course, on Barn Street, we got sidewalk to be replaced there too. But
Can I ask, let's say that we wanted to put those extra utility poles on barns. It would fit with a lot of what we've been saying about kind of making the MSD feel more continuous. So when you leave Washington Street, you go towards the junction, it feels more like the same place, like you didn't just exit the downtown. Do we have any idea of what that might cost?
well, Duke doesn't charge for the installation of the outlet. I mean, they make that up in the energy charges once it's placed there. And the Christmas decorations, I mean, the simple snowflake ones that we got, I think those were right at $860 per light. But they're all white, they're all the same color. I don't know if you want to consider some, I mean, they make almost infinite number and kinds of Christmas decorations hanging on poles that are very colorful and multiple designs and shapes and things like that. I mean, we could budget a number in there. Again, the MSD has plenty of fund balance there and really no big pressing projects to spend it on. But, you know, the charter for the MSD or the goal, the mission is to enhance the MSD district with these funds and provide for infrastructure. And some of that can be used for marketing. So
Can you pull back up the ones we originally ordered and unfortunately the town council voted against us?
yeah.
And went with just snowflakes.
Yeah. I mean, we got the,
Because I know we had wanted like trees, the Christmas trees. I think we had
There was a
done like
bell.
It was
And
a
an
bell,
an
a
angel.
tree, a candle,
I think it was 4 that we were looking at.
bell, tree, candle, and snowflake.
Yeah, and we ended up with just all snowflakes.
Yeah,
So I just think, and again, mixing it in with the poinsettias that are in the downtown, in the MSD section, I think they just need to be mixed, intermingled, just because it looked like you had all white lights and you had all red. So it's just, it's kind of one of those things. If you can just interchange them a little bit, it gives a better flow. And I would absolutely love to see it go from Walmart all the way through town, because then that is what a town does. That is your total town. But unfortunately, I know Nashville's got 2 towns. We have this downtown, and we have East Nashville. Okay, I mean it is, but they need to be unified, from that standpoint. And I think that would help tie them all together. I mean, that's a lot of poles. I know that it's a ton.
yeah, I mean, you could easily add 30 more Christmas decorations. Right now, I think we stop at the Cooley Corner, and
Well, some of them flow all the way down to Bell's.
that's right, they do.
There's like one across at the Walgreens.
It's supposed to be all the way up to LBJ, but unfortunately, we never got those repaired, so not that we didn't put in the tickets, and not that we haven't been trying for 3 years to get those outlets repaired, working with our energy partner. And we'll continue to do that. But you may want to consider allotting a little more money in the budget for that. And then I think Sean got another request for an application for a facade
We did.
for 112 South Body Street from Adam Williams today.
He did reach out to the town. He's going to complete the application and the scope of work site plan to bring to the MSD. The goal is to have it to you guys no later than
Yeah.
June, he said.
But I think past budgets, we've always figured on 2 of those at $5,000 for 10 for facade
Is that the
grants.
old, was it joinery or
Is that
whatever?
the livery stable?
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And so right now we are 3 facades that we've approved. We approved the painted teacher, the 2 that Mr. Hyde is doing, the Trash Treasure building and the building beside it. And then the 3rd one would be Mr. Adam, for what he's doing.
And on the dig, I don't know if we got one in progress with the junction, and we'll make sure we get enough money put in that line item. Those dig grants, from the time they're approved and somebody actually starts renovation, completes it, and then if their dig application is due or ready to go, it usually takes a minimum of 2-3 years before we even have to worry about budgeting any money for that, because the renovations take time, and then even after they're done, then Nash County has to come in and reevaluate the property upon completion, and then the next year's taxes get based upon that new evaluation. And the way that program works is through our program, we refund the difference in town taxes between the pre-value and the post, based on a formula of 80% first year, 60, 40, 20, and that's how it works. So I don't know if there's anything else in there you want to budget for. I think we budget monies there for staff and for MSD board members to go to the annual Main Street Program Conference.
Yes, we did. We moved that up a little bit this year, so in case we have board members that want to attend, they're more than welcome to attend. Advertising is staying the same. MSD expenditures is $15,000. That should stay the same. That should be able to cover the benches and trash cans that we buy in half this fiscal year and the other half of next fiscal year, and then everything else staying the same. And only thing that we haven't budgeted yet is the kiosks or the software. We want to go with kiosks in downtown for the 2-hour parking. Of course, when we get quotes, we'll need a budget for that in this cycle.
I think we talked about this offline some time ago, but at the junction, that front end where they put all the signage, is still part of the town, right? That's not part of where Michael's, property is, right?
Where Michael's thinking about putting a new sign in?
Yeah, because we were talking about the fact that it would be nice to have something that says like the home of the Nashville Farmers Market and retail shopping or something, something there that people know what that is, because people are walking through thinking it's a train station, they think it's, different things, and when the now that we have the sign of the farmer's market there, it might be good because during the off season, that sign is not there. So if it's something stable there, maybe they'll know that this is the place to come. Because people are still saying they didn't know we had a farmer's market, which is crazy, but they'll say, oh, I didn't know it was a farmer's market here too. So that would be a great way for when people are coming through during the off season, they know this is where the farmer's market is housed. I don't know if that's something that's always gonna be where it's at or not, but if some signage or something can, I don't know what can be there, just to have an idea of what can be there.
It falls in the town's parking lot, but let me double check everything and I can get with Randy tomorrow and I can shoot you an email, let you know what our findings are. I know that we're talking about that little corner right there.
Yeah, he's
right
gonna
with
put something closer to the building, but we
Right,
like
he
for
wanted-
people driving through,
He
they
wanted
don't
the
know
town
what
to
it
put something in
is.
the corner in the parking lot. Let me get with Randy tomorrow, we'll follow up with you.
Well, and Michael had talked about putting a monument sign, between where the sidewalk is and the parking lot.
Yes.
And, the conveyance agreement that the town has with Herd LLC for that property allowed for that. And he was talking about putting kind of a kiosk monument. Well, what do you call that? An off premise or like Food Line has or the Piggly Wiggly, where you have one sign at the entrance and then everybody that's in there as a tenant gets a little billboard, a business identification sign.
You know, a little marquee sign.
Yeah, that's
Marquee
right.
sign. Now he hasn't pursued that yet, but he asked for
He
that
got some
specifically.
quotes, but I was like, is that gonna be in our side or where the people drive through side? Like, the two, because they'll have to drive in to see that.
When he talked to us, he was talking about the corner right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like somebody, so when you had that stop sign, you can see it, all the tenants in the junction, but it kind of just fizzled out. We never heard back from him on it.
Well, he hasn't pursued it yet.
Right.
I'm sure it's on the to-do list.
Yeah, I know he spoke to somebody and got a picture of a monument sign. But we were trying to figure out what's the best place to place it. Okay, thank you.
Just going back to the Christmas decorations for just a moment. Personally, I think that it would be a good idea, regardless of if we get them or not, to go ahead and have outlets on those Barn Street poles, just because then we have the option, right? Regardless if we want to do Christmas decorations this year, there may be some other, utility that we might want to use that for. If it's free, what was it, Duke Energy
Yes.
is willing to come and do that, we might as well go ahead and do it now and maybe.
Much lower word willing, I think, beg.
Okay. See, you actually know how to deal with them, right? But if we do it now, maybe in 6 or 7 months we'll have it, and it'll be about time.
And I'd have no objection if we wanted to allot just a little extra funds for potential Christmas decorations, because we do need more than just what we have. We still have some that are getting older.
Right.
Should we vote on that, or just have it as a note?
If you want to, I would say let's vote on it.
Yeah, if we're gonna alter the
Right,
budget,
we're gonna
then
alter the
we would.
budget. Let's vote on it,
Yeah.
get it in the minutes and then.
Then we would need someone to make a motion and.
Jeremy, do you want to also maybe consider additional hanging flowers on Barn Street? We're going to add here, when they come out, more on Washington Street between Alston and Barn Street. And we had every other pole on every other side. Now we're going to have, 9 more we got
9 more going
to fill in there? It's just a budget. You can allot money in there, but before it gets spent, obviously it comes back before the committee or the advisory board, and you talk about it and actually vote on it.
I do think it's one of those things that brings the continuity back down, especially if we're going back down towards 64 with a few more, and we're finishing up on Washington Street with more. It would just definitely tie in the other. I know Church Street has 2, I think.
That's
maybe.
it. That's it.
But that's okay right now.
Right.
Embodied.
but they have 2.
Right.
So it would just definitely help with bringing it down towards the junction and tying in the fact that we are a blooming town.
That's right.
I make a motion to approve both ideas.
I'll second it.
All right. So we had a motion on the table and we had a second. So all in favor to adjust the budget, we can come up with some numbers, from that standpoint in discussion. But if you're all in favor, will you vote aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. So obviously the matter of just discussion is some numbers, preliminary numbers.
Yes.
I think each of the flower pots roughly cost, what, the last 9 we just did?
I think we spent right at about 14.
14, yeah,
It wasn't that much.
14, 1,500 dollars,
Right.
yeah. So, I think if we tried to look something similar down Barn Street to figure out how we can arrange them based on the poles.
And I'll get the guys to go out. They're pretty good on when I measure those poles, see which ones can get them and which ones can't. So that'll give us a better rough estimate number of what we definitely need, the hard numbers for budgeting for.
Okay. And then as for, Christmas decorations, if we're gonna look at it, I think we had budgeted that time before about 10,000 to 15,000.
Right.
So I don't think that's a bad number to just have in the budget, because to me, it's a reasonable number.
Do the board wants to look back at those decorations again, or do you want to go back with what we recommended, the bell, tree, candles, snowflake, and stockings?
Well, I think the whole thing we were trying to do is be as just nominal from a standpoint of not having any sort of religious aspect,
Right,
from a standpoint of that standpoint. So that's the reason why we chose the ones we looked at.
okay,
But they still symbolize Christmas, that
right.
everyone would recognize.
Can I request to see them first?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you can send them back out in the
Okay.
email, because they were nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that,
We
I
had a
just,
pamphlet.
before I vote on it, I
thousands.
just,
No mermaids, right? No mermaids?
He brought all those with him at one time. They were nice stuff.
He did it. Maybe what we can do is, I'll
Not
give.
far.
Yeah, I'll give the town clerk. He's out of Youngsville, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll give the town clerk, get the contact information, see if we can have him come back in May for the board to look at the rest of them, just to get a visual of them again.
While we're looking at the budget, I see that, there is 10,000 for the facade grants, but you just listed a while ago, like
3 of them already.
several businesses. So-
They will be paid in different budget years, so
Okay,
Mr. Hyde and yours will be paid in 1 year, and then Mr. Hyde's other one will be paid in another fiscal year.
Yeah, we had 2 that we had approved for 25,
Right, that was,
and then we'll have 2 that we'll approve for the 26 to 27.
right.
And so that's kind of how it rolls. So it looks odd, but it's, because they don't run. All right. Anything else? I know our next meeting is scheduled for May 25th. And outside of that, if there's no other discussion or topics, then I will adjourn the meeting.
May 25th is Memorial Day.
Yes, it is.
That is, I did not look at that wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was.
I just thought about that. I will send out a different date in May, and we'll go for a different date. I'll send it
I
out.
thought we were
Yeah.
gonna meet on Tuesdays.
Well,
It is
if we're the 26th, but this is the 25th.
It's the 26th.
So the 26th would be Tuesday. That would be
That'll be
that would be
one.
fine.
Right.
Yeah. But I saw this. I knew that was Memorial Day myself. So if there's
I will be out of town, just FYI.
Okay.
okay.
I'm coming back on the 26th.
So no other discussion, then I will adjourn the meeting.